of things though. I think David would be a lot better at researching things than me. I launched the company in 6 weeks. We grew, so I will tell you, this is funny because I'm old, right? I'm a lot older than you guys. But I thought I'd be an online sensation. So I thought we could do this online stuff. The first month I started, so I went on my, we launched on September 1st, that's my 50th birthday. And I didn't really start any product though in until like it was kind of advanced orders. So in October, products started coming. I sold a whole $590 in October. And by the way, I taken all my kids all voted about launching this company. I took their college education fund. I have 5 kids. So we had about $300,000 in college money. I took it all to invest in here, and they all voted that that was a good idea. And I told them I'd work the rest of my life to pay their loans if we had to get loans, but we were able to do fine with that. So anyway, I took all that money as my seed money in. I could not get any banking money because it was a new company, so there was no banks. I had to use all my own equity to do that. But my first month, we only sold $590. I thought, great, I just spent all my kids' college money and we're gonna go broke. But anyway, so we started the next month, we sold $20,000 because I took the purses. Oh, by the way, I started in my basement in Edwardsville, Illinois. So we're out of our Edwardsville here. And so the next month we did $20,000 because I threw the purses in a car and started going around to Hallmark stores and all the boutiques and things like that. And I was selling them in the boutiques, and it was now November, which was a good time to sell. In December, we sold $40,000 worth of purses because the boutiques, Christmas, things amazing. So then the next month, I'm thinking we're not going to sell anything, but I went to Atlanta, which is a major gift market for the United States. It's where all the boutiques go for business, and we sold $90,000 out of my basement in November. So then we had to kind of go a little bit bigger. So we were selling so fast that we were running out of purses all the time. And so I thought, my supplier said, why don't you use your own UPS number? So in my mind, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, you think if you're, sending 5,000 purses over for somebody else's UPS, if I get my own UPS, it should be about the same price, right? Not the case at all. The purses were supposed to cost me $9,000 to get here. My UPS bill was $34,000 because I used my account versus their account. So that was a huge, major loss at the beginning of, a launch, and they would not lower that bill. So anyway, so always be very careful when you're getting bids and things like that. You know exactly what you're doing. And just so you know, the negotiated rates for FedEx, UPS, and all of that, you have to be very wary of and make sure you use the best number for it, or you'll lose a lot of money. So anyway, so that happened with UPS. But 6 months after, so we did $90,000 in January, and then in February, we got invited to go to the Oscars and be in the Oscar gift baskets. So this was the beginning of it. We had some A-listers, so when they come in at first, you get the B-listers or whatever, and then you keep getting, but when they come, you're just too busy, you can't take any pictures. So we got to go to the Oscars. I also was invited to Gladys Knight's birthday party and handed out purses to her guests, things like that in California, so that was pretty awesome. So anyway, from there, the movie star people told, does anybody know who she is? Raise your hand if you know who she is. Okay. So when I was at the Oscars giving out my purses, by the way, when you do that, it's for free. You have to give them the product for free. Like you think, well, they could pay for it, but they don't. They just get this basket of things and you can take pictures with them, and it's fun. But the movie star people told Lori Vernier about me and Saving Pearls. And so she called 2 days after the Oscars and was like, hey, I hear you have a cool product. And so I decided to do like kind of a side deal with Lori Vernier. She did sell on QVC our products. She sold out of 40,000 purses in one day. So she's a pretty amazing person. So I finally, was doing well, and instead of flying purses anymore, I decided to ship a container over. So you saw 5,000 purses, right, cost me $34,000 on UPS. Well, on in the shipping, it was only, at that time, it was only $3,800 to have an entire container come. So an entire container in a container, by the way, fits about 25,000 purses. So for 25,000 purses, I can do it this way versus air flying them, which is how I started. So we had my first container coming out of Shenzhen, China, so excited about it, and a tsunami hit. And literally, I'm not kidding you, this is what they sent me a picture of, and they said, your container's lost at sea. It was $100,000, which, by the way, no money from a bank from that was my money. So my house is like floating down the ocean, you know. And I didn't tell anybody. So I didn't tell my kids, I didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell, and we had probably 1 or 2 employees at that time. I didn't tell anybody. And I just pretended that it was going to come back, and I did pray a lot. So then about 2 weeks later, they're like, we think we found your container. We'll know when it gets to port, which takes about a month, you know. So next thing you know, the container shows up at the warehouse. Now we're in Belleville, because we moved to Belleville. And I, once again, hadn't told anybody. So if you can imagine, like, so whenever a container comes like this, there's a big lock on it, and you have to get a bolt, and you have to cut it open. Nobody knew. They're cutting the bolt. I'm like, this thing's gonna have fish and water and, you know, what's gonna be in there. They open up the doors and all I see is cardboard that's like not wet, you know. I'm like, it made it! Oh my God, it made it! I started crying. They're like, what is going on? I'm like, I thought it'd be wet. And they're like, why do you think your product's wet? And then I told everybody the story. But for 6 weeks, like, so you're talking entrepreneurship is like this, you know, my stuff's on the water. So anyway, so we got it in and I sold that product as fast as I could because I'm like, maybe there's like salt water in there, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't wet. So hopefully nobody ever got a complaint, but we just sold fast and went on. So anyway, from there we started doing all these shows. So we went to these shows in Atlanta, Dallas, Vegas, and their shows where retailers go. So within our first year, we sold $1 million just within 12 months of starting, and then we've sold more since then. And we go to these shows. So we had about 2,500 retail locations within about 18 months of launch. So that went really fast. We went viral. I got to work with my family. This is my son. He was only 15 in this picture, and on that show that day, he sold $16,000 by himself of purses. And then this is my daughter, who's the accountant. And this is my daughter, who works full-time for me, so it's really awesome. And my redhead's not in the picture. But anyway, those are my girls too. So anyway, so much fun. You get to work with family and do all that. All the kids were young. They were here at Metro East Lutheran. You guys know that school. And they came and worked the shows with me and whatever, and then we grew together. So it's super fun to get to work with family and have all these experiences.